Hello everybody, this is Briefcase here, again bringing you game number 2 of this series between pbSWAG and Shadowfiend Eats Cake in the MLG North American League. So, once again, we got the first ban out as Wisp. That happened last time. I'm pretty sure it was pbSWAG, though, that actually banned it out the first time around, if I'm not mistaken. But this time, Shadowfiend Eats Cake is on the dire side, pbSWAG is on the Radiant. Just changing it up just a smidge, it would seem. I just woke up personally, and I'm just decided to get a couple casts in. Why not? I gotta play catch up at the very least, and I didn't get to do both of these games yesterday like I wanted to, so today will have to be the day when I maybe get 3, maybe even 4 games in. And here's hoping my voice doesn't go out too badly. And now that I realize that I've already started to cast, I don't have my water near me. Oh, I'm in bad shape now. Just as well, let's talk about the actual game going on. You got pbSWAG banning out Weaver as well as Batrider there. And Shadowfiend Eats Cake retaliates with, with the Prophet ban out. Most of these heroes you saw banned last time. Weaver, of course, did make it through last time as well. pbSWAG, though, I think just wanting to not let Shadowfiend Eats Cake get Weaver again. He was so strong last game. He didn't contribute so much as far as being a carry, and oddly enough, the Queen of Pain played by Relic was an amazing semi-carry and just outfarmed everybody by almost had double the net worth of the next leading hero near the end of it. But Weaver was very good at staying bottom lane, constantly having that pressure. Did eventually get a Deso, which of course helped the overall damage of the team as well, and was just really hard for pbSWAG to deal with. They didn't have enough disables, they didn't have enough stuns, and they didn't have enough ways to reveal invisibility, or at least they didn't get as much detection as I thought they would. And because of that, Weaver had a field day and could basically go around the whole map uncontested the entire time. Shadowfiend Eats Cake is picking up that Visage. I think they were appreciating just how much damage Visage can do, or Visage? However you want to say it, just how much damage you can do early on with that Soul Assumption at max level, or not even at max level, just at any level. It can do a huge amount of damage, and the biggest thing is that it's incredibly spammable. So even if you get, 3 of them off in a team fight, now, I mean, that is a 15-second long team fight. That is quite long. Still, though, it can be just incredibly substantial, especially early on. So I think Shadowfiend Eats Cake wanting to take that damage away from pbSWAG and use it to their own effect. If I'm not mistaken, I'm fairly certain Visage was on pbSWAG last time, was also on the dire side. Almost certain of that. I actually have to go back now, I can't remember. Just as well, doesn't matter anymore. It's picked up in this game by Shadowfiend Eats Cake. Shadowfiend Eats Cake also picking up the Clockwork, of course, great for initiating, and just overall can cancel a lot of people's spellcasting. There's nothing worse than being hooked by a Clockwork as Leshrac, because your cast times on everything is just so long, you can't get anything going except pulsing your ult off. pbSWAG, though, has picked up a Naga Siren, and you see Naga being played a lot more as supports nowadays. She just has such high base armor, has an ensnare. If she needs to, she can Riptide, which of course helps everybody by minusing armor. And if things get a little too hairy, all she has to do is sing. And she basically has a fight reset button with the sing, of course, or an amazing way to initiate. And her coupled with Razor, I'm not sure, but I want to say Static Link continues while somebody sleeps, so that might be something to look out for near the mid game. Just getting a Naga Siren sleep and Razor static linking up to plus 200 odd damage, 240 or so, I think is what it comes up to. 28 a second, and then link duration is 8. So yeah, probably about 240 around there. Plus 240 damage, and then just going to town on the entire enemy team. Of course, you'd have to look and be scared a little bit of getting burst down, but of course, with his passive, that can be very scary to do. Not for the damage, more so for the slow amount of time. The 1.6 second slow can be really terrifying for anybody. And now pbSWAG, they have banned out the Queen of Pain, just seeing just how strong Relic was with Queen of Pain earlier, and probably not wanting to deal with that as Razor. Not to mention the Scream won't actually affect Unstable Current. as far as I know. This is only for targeting spell or targeted spells. So Razor, if he is played mid, can have a pretty rough time against Queen of Pain, or pretty much anybody that just has kind of blanket spells like that. You really want... Razor, surprisingly, is one of the better heroes to play against OD. He's not intelligent, it doesn't affect his last hitting as much, and Static Link still will continue to drain damage while he is imprisoned, astral imprisoned. So he can actually be played pretty well against the meta of OD, but Shadowfiend eats cake. Obviously, just not wanting to give them OD either, getting rid of that, as well as Chen. Chen is this hero who, if played well, has such a massive impact throughout almost the entire game, more so in the early and mid, when you can set up ganks, you can do some amazing stuff, you can save people, obviously, with your ult, which is so strong. And he kind of drops off later on, unless you get something like Ag's Refresher, but if you have that, you should win already, honestly. Pretty Boy Swag now, if you look at their bans, you can see that they've banned out lots of very good mids. They got rid of the Storm Spirit, got rid of Bat Rider, which is a very strong mid, very strong at anything, really. You got rid of Queen of Pain, and so I think Pretty Boy Swag just wants to make sure that their Razor, who might be playing mid, gets as much time as he wants, and gets as much space as he wants. Pretty Boy Swag now spending a ban on Abaddon, no less. Just seeing that how strong he was at keeping Weaver alive. They don't have that combo anymore. They don't have Weaver Abaddon, but of course Abaddon Queen of Pain was very strong as well. Abaddon with Clockwork could be incredibly strong as well. Overall, a pretty good support hero, but you don't see him very much, and I'm kind of excited to see him getting banned for one, but what I'm more excited about is that Elder Titan was picked up by Shadowfiend Eats Cake. Also the first time I've ever seen him in Captain's mode, because he did just recently come out, along with Abaddon, I believe, but first time I've ever seen him competitive play, and really interested to see how they play him. Usually don't see an Elder Titan played, at least in pub games and what have you, as a carry. It just doesn't work, mostly because he doesn't need the farm to be that good. He is surprisingly good early game at actually getting last hits, and I've always been surprised with just how strong he can be as a mid, because if you use your Astral, Astral Spirit? If you use your Astral Spirit to not only harass the enemy hero and then send it back to you, you can actually get that little extra boost of damage, which lets you out-hit the enemy. And just from that extra bit of damage, you can a lot of times dictate the pace of the lane and get as many last hits and denies as possible. But now Shadowfiend Eats Cake, picking up Shadowfiend, going true to their namesake. Obviously, that's a very nice mid. Razor can steal that damage from him, but I mean, it's the souls alone are gonna really help him. Not to mention Shadow Rays will not trigger unstable current, so a very good pickup as far as a mid goes. Swag, or Pretty Boy Swag, might have a Razor mid. It's hard to say at the moment, but now let's get into who is playing who. You got Relic as Shadowfiend. I assume Relic is the mid player. He played mid last time, did a great job of it. You got Bricks as the Alchemist, Moshi as Visage, Knave as Clockwork, and Nodamon as Elder Titan, who looks like he's going to be supporting very hard this game. On Team Pretty Boy Swag, you have Dark Falco as Razor. You got Cakes as the Bounty Hunter. Nice little beard there, I must say. Countdown to Jocktober is playing the Naga Siren. He was the Jakiro last game, supported pretty well overall, and looks like he's going to be going support Naga this game. I'm a Sheep is being the Rubik. They have all the wards in the world. Gyrocopter is being played by Slazel. Just like last game, all the positions have already been decided. Slazel, of course, is the carry. Usually don't see this ward put up too often, especially in something that looks like an aggressive tri-lane with this gyro. Of course, homing missile does not do too much damage early on, but the stun, 2.2 seconds early on, is pretty big. And if you can actually catch them close to you, that can be pretty strong. It looks like some offensive warding going on for this bottom try, and rightly so. I mean, you have a 2-second ensnare at the start. You have telekinesis, which is essentially, you might as well call it a 2-second disable, because with the throwing them back, that's about the same. It's about the equivalent, and Slazel with a 2.2 second stun. That is a lot of damage to be thrown out, and a lot of stun duration to be thrown out. Of course, 2 of those stuns do not do damage. Only Slazel's will, but Ensnare and Telekinesis will not. But with this Haste Rune, this could be very scary for this Clockwork. I know that he, of course, has Cogs, which can make it very hard to actually gank him, especially with the bounciness, but overall can be very strong. Cakes looks like he's pulling the top creeps, just trying to guarantee himself a little bit of experience. And I've seen this in a few games, but not too many. And this Clockwork must be really wary. He doesn't have a ward down here to scout out and look for this try. He must be just terrified a little bit. Bricks up top. Looks like he is going Unstable Concoction, seeming like they would want to go for an aggressive tri-lane with this ET, but it looks like he's just going to be stacking up for Alchemist. Might be going a little bit of a farming Alchemist. Would have expected a Grievel's Greed early, but not so much. And now with this countdown to Jocktober, trying to get that Riptide out, doing a little bit of armor reduction, and just kind of make sure that Relic does not get the last hits and doesn't get any souls in the world. Dark Falco also, of course, trying to steal his damage. Only takes 7, but I mean, with -2 now, Shadowfiend does not have many. But down pops Notamon, and he wants to just harass Dark Falco a bit. A little bit of a tit for tat going on mid. Just both trying to deny each other the last hits and the denies, trying to get as many souls as possible for Relic. And he is having a rough time. Usually you see a few more of it, but that's a-okay. And now if we look at the last hits and denies, Gyro, of course, is doing very well on his safe lane. Razor's actually beating Relic quite handedly at the moment, and that's not where you want to be. And it looks like Cakes was getting, he's getting a few last hits, popping those Janatas, and the Shadow Walks just has gone for the easy farming build. And it doesn't look like they have any sentries top. They do not. They have this aggressive observer, but beyond that, it doesn't really matter. And now, of course, I have missed First Blood because I am not paying attention. And now I feel so much like Toby1. How could I do it? Oh well. Oh no, my microphone! It's slowly waning on my microphone stand. Okay, so give me one moment. Relic, of course, is going to get harassed now a little bit, but he does have more souls. Getting just 10 damage, but beyond that, it's not too bad. Now, pardon me as I adjust this microphone. Alright, now it looks like Cake, and I've adjusted it, and hopefully it won't slowly fade and be sad and droopy for the rest of the game. I did cinch it up quite a bit at the start, but it looks like my cheap microphone stand has let me down just a smidge. And now it looks like Relic is going to be picking up this double damage, and that's just the I win button for mid, especially on a Shadowfiend. You already have a huge amount of damage. It can't really let you kill people generally unless you have an Invis or a Shadow Blade or something to go along with it. And Dark Falco now trying to steal it. Didn't see the double damage, it looks like. Get at least a 2 hits in, but he does have plus 42 now, which means minus, and that double damage is almost doing nothing now. It is giving him a bit more, making him a little bit scarier, but overall it is not doing too much. And now it looks like the creep equilibrium down bot has shifted up towards Knave, and that's going to give him some much needed experience. And it looks like he's just been hanging around at his tower for quite a while. He does not have too much experience at the moment, is only level 3, but that is a-okay. He knows he can't move out too far with these 2 ensnares as well as Riptide available to them. And it looks like they could actually go on it. They're trying to get these last hits and see if they can't do little bits of damage every once in a while. That wasn't quite a pull. That was trying to get a double pull. And now with that, these creeps are going to push right up to the tower after this creep right here. And Knave is going to get some much more needed experience. Trying to farm up as much as he can with these little rockets. Still has 6. He's doing about on par with Cakes. All the while, the Cakes, I mean, he isn't doing too great as far as experience. He is getting zoned out quite a bit, I must admit. And they still don't have any sentries up here. Cakes looks like he's just trying to get the creep line right about here. God, I keep saying queep. What's wrong with me? Oh well, not the end of the world. Relic now with 20 souls, Naga Siren, and I missed another kill. Man, I am doing bad this day. Looks like I should have waited a little bit longer, had a slight bit more coffee today before I started casting, but we'll see. I guess this will be my warm-up game, not the end of the world. It looks like Shadowfiend Relic diving on Dark Falco just a little bit. He does not have Static Link available. It looks like it was just caught off, and Relic now popping that bottle, getting that regen back up, so he can go kind of full health, full mana against a half-healther. And if he gets some nice Shadow Raises out, this might be the end of Dark Falco. And now, for anybody listening, and I hope you can't pick it up, but I might just be able to, my landlord is now mowing the lawn right outside of my apartment. So that's terrific. Sorry, everybody. This is just a comedy of errors at the moment, but it isn't too bad. I haven't picked up too much of the sound. It might just be a low rumble, but pardon me if you hear it. That'll be going away in what, 5-10 minutes, I think, I suspect, I hope. Bricks now has opted to only get level 2 Unstable Concoction, and Greevil's Greed has not gotten Acid Spray. Can sometimes be a very nice pickup, especially against something like a Bounty Hunter where you know he's around all the time and you just want to zone him out really, really hard. It looks like Relic now is going to be picking up. He is indeed. He's going to be Shadow Raising this down, getting so much money right there. And Elder Titan now picking up a little bit of experience. He's only been level 2 now, and now it looks like he's going to get picked up, and he's definitely going to fall. There's no way out of this one for him. Does not have any sort of instant regen. Dark Falco only did get 42 and one more hit. Relic gets 2 kills now. Very, very big news for him, and he already just got more from that giant stack of hard creeps in the jungle. Relic now, he does indeed have his power treads, has his magic wand. And with how much Razor uses Static Link, he's now going to be bottle crowing, it looks like, trying to make sure, see if he can't get a rune there. There is none, and back goes the crow with the bottle, or should I say the stump. Slazel is doing bot, he's fine, just fine, has 45 last hits, he's doing well and well, and I suspect that Bricks, even with these 32, missing out on 13 last hits, I suspect his Greevil Greed is doing very, very well at making up for that. And if we look at the net worth graph, yeah, he's about on par with the Gyrocopter at the moment. Current gold. Oh, Gyro getting that solo kill on Clockwork. That's not what you want to do as your off lane. Basically, your only real job is to gain experience and not die. And that wasn't even an aggressive tri-lane kill. That was just Gyrocopter, it looks like probably outplaying him by however much. But if we go back to the last hits, give us a little bit of a barometer to see how things are going. Bounty is not level 6 yet, still isn't level 6. Knave is now only level 4 now as well. Slizel doing fine at getting those last hits and trying to zone him out as best he can. Of course, with Flat Cannon, it's very, very easy to not only zone people out, but just keep them very low and keep them in a harassy type range. Cakes is here trying to deny these creeps from getting pulled, from getting anything really. Dark Falco is mid as well. He is very, very far behind Relic now, though. It's just especially if you look at not even the current gold, the net worth. I mean, Relic is twice as expensive as this fella right here if you wanted to pick him up in a shop. He just costs so much more money. Dark Falco is getting some nice hits on him, though, with that ring of electricity. Plasma field is what it's called. But overall, Relic is just having a field day mid. Started out very rough for him. He's getting hurt and harassed quite a bit. But I mean, with those extra ganks from his friends and the stack, he's going to be doing fine, just fine. And now has gotten another double damage. And with this, he's probably not going to... Ah, there it is. Bounty has activated invisibility. I didn't know he had a bottle of his own. He does indeed, but now Alchemist getting his treads, or not treads, phase boots up, and that's going to make it so he can do a little bit more damage. His last hitting's a little bit better, and now Gyrocopter getting another kill bot, but in pops Relic. He had ult available. There is no level 6 on this Siren, and that's fine, just fine. That's trading an off lane for a support. That's probably not the best trade in the world, but it did go to Relic, and it just looks like Relic as mid is just commanding these games. I gotta be paying way more attention. It looks like Bounty possibly in a little bit of trouble. Did he get dusted? No, it was just out of range. Moshi maybe should have waited. Bricks is here, gonna stun himself. It's not the end of the world though, but in pops Countdown to Jocktober. It looks like he does indeed. And now that's at least one track kill for Cakes. And this is what might change the tide of the fight, honestly, when it comes right down to it, is when it comes down to team fights and kills, even if Shadowfiend eats cake, NOM is actually winning, and even if Relic, of course, is doing all the last hitting in the world and doing very, very well, these track kills might be the difference. And, of course, Countdown to Jocktober was around for that. That'll give him some much-needed money for wards, get those brown boots up, and that sort of thing as well. Dark Falco, of course, is just staying mid and farming. But with this double damage, it's so difficult. It's almost impossible to outlast him. How do I keep missing these? Gyrocopter is just on a murdering spree bot. Clockwork must be playing, I mean, not having the best time of his life by any means. And Gyrocopter, of course, is going for that Ogre Club, getting that BKB very, very quickly. He's getting targeted by this, and that will be a Fallen Tower bot. That's not too bad for them, honestly, when it comes right down to it. But this Clockwork is dying way, way too much, and most likely than not, it's because of his lack of boots. Clockwork, of course, does have very, very quick movement speed to start 315. That's really, really fast, actually. He just doesn't look like a very fast hero. But overall, I think he just keeps giving up these kills to the Gyrocopter, and that is not what you want to do. You do not want to be giving up kills to the enemy carry. It looks like Gyro isn't stacking. He's just trying to get as many people with flat cannon as possible, make his damage as efficient as humanly possible as well, and picking up as much gold as he possibly can. Doing the same thing, stacking the camp. That's what you got to do, friends, when it comes right down to it. Nodamon is top now. Only has a TP scroll. This guy is supporting with his entire life. He's trying so hard to make everybody get the best amount of gold and experience as they possibly can. Is still only level 4 though. Can't really do too much. Of course, getting the sleep, which is very fun and very good, I must say. Looks like Shadowfiend might be going, is indeed going BKB as well. Not sure how I feel about that. Really, when it comes right down to it, I suppose we'll stop telekinesis. Does not stop Ensnare, though. Ensnare doesn't stop you from attacking, which is really what Shadowfiend wants, though, as well. But, of course, I don't know if it actually breaks Static Link. It may break Static Link, but I think you can still Static Link while someone's BKB'd over top of it. Similar to another skill that I can't remember at the moment, but overall, not sure if it's really necessary in this game. Might have wanted to go something like a Deso and really shell out the damage. Possibly something like a Lincoln's even. That might be more efficient when it comes right down to it. That definitely does break Static Link, or not, at least not let it happen. Knave now is level 6. Might see some pretty big hooks coming from him soon, but not too sure. Nodamon looks like he's just running around trying to stack up any camps he can. And Relic making sure that this camp has nobody in it before that respawn. Really trying to get as much gold as possible. Nodamon stacking this camp for, most likely than not, Relic or Bricks. They have two really heavy farmers on this team, and both of them are doing quite well as far as last hits. And if we look at the net worth, they are both top runners. The only reason that Gyro is really even competing with them is because he's gotten a few solo kills against Gyrocopter. Nodamon does not have it. Cakes is here, but there is no way to get away. Relic, though, is going to get killed by getting hurt up by this, but it can't quite do it. Relic is just barely getting away. Bricks is here getting the big stun on Slizel. Relic, though, was there as well. Soul Assumption will finish him off. Rubik is here. Can't quite get it, though. Soul Assumption again. Didn't steal it. Might have been good to get. Oh, he did get Soul Assumption. That's what gave him the kill. And now Relic running away. Dark Falco trying to get that kill. Relic wants to be within experience range, or maybe get the kill with that Shadow Rays. Does indeed. Just doing amazingly well trying to get all of those hits. And Nodamon now was around for all of those kills and didn't die, and is now level 6 with Earth Splitter, which, I mean, it does not scale particularly well, this ability. All it does is increase the slow. Doesn't decrease anything, it just increases the slow duration and effect. Overall, though, not a very efficient use of points after the first one, and really usually just don't up this at all until level 24, 25. Even stats are considered better than this in a lot of moments. Relic trying to do as much damage to the tower as possible. Has BKB, can be pretty ballsy now. Doesn't have to worry too much, but then again, that static link could still be a pretty big issue for him. I know it can still sap. I'm not sure, like I said before, not sure if it breaks tethers or if it breaks, or if you can tether over top of it. I think you can. Hard to say, though. Cakes is scouting around, though, checking everything out and making sure that no funny business is going on, no stacks are happening at the moment. If only Relic had a gem or there was something around. I'm a Sheep now is running up. They're trying to do as much damage to him. He isn't that squishy anymore, though. He does have his BKB available. Oh, does get tossed up. As well, Soul Assumption doing a huge amount of damage. Good thing Relic was here and does just an obscene amount himself. It looks like the opposing team coming in. Nodamon now trying to get a sleep in. Doesn't really matter, though. Dark Falco. Moshi is getting linked, and that is not where you want to be. Relic does pop his BKB. Ults, though, does not ult, opting not to, wants to get down there, but somebody just ported in. That is a long TP in. Dark Falco, though, he is going to fall. Is he? It looks like he must fall. They want to get one more stun on him. It looks like a Naga Sleep's going on around this Knave, who was very close to killing him. He does have his hookshot available. If he does get this, that's going to be a beauty. Does indeed. Has cogs available. Doesn't pop it fast enough. I'm a Sheep does indeed telekinesis him back and pops the cogs just to make sure he gets away. Some pretty action-packed fighting right then. Oh, I feel so bad for Relic being caught on that cliff. He could have done so much more that entire game, but now it looks like Moshi being completely caught out. I don't see how he can get away from this. He does indeed for at least 1 second. Cakes is going to get him, though, for sure. Gets thrown the thing, and now you got I'm a Sheep. Has stolen Hook, a very good steal, and with that, it looks like Elder Titan was just a little bit out of position. You got Brick's farming bot, though, and that's A-okay. He's doing fine, fine. If we look at the gold graph, we see these giant dips and giant dives, and originally it's looking pretty good for Shadowfiend Eats Cake. They were winning a lot of the lanes and doing fine, just fine. Gyrocopter was getting... Oh, yeah, no, that's for Pretty Boy Swag. Pretty Boy Swag was getting a few kills with the Gyrocopter. All the while, though, you had Shadowfiend Eats Cake just farming very, very effectively. And then there's this big team fight that just happened for Pretty Boy Swag. And then Shadowfiend Eats Cake came back with it, with that other team fight. Now there's that big swing again. If we look at the experience, though, I suspect, yeah, almost fully in favor of Shadowfiend Eats Cake almost the entire time. Knave has not been tracked yet. Cakes has not given up his position yet. They just want to guarantee this kill, and now he is completely caught out. This is not where you want to be. He is just stuck there forever. What a free kill, and everybody around it for that easy track gold. And I think now Shadowfiend Eats Cake with Relic just opting to push mid, realizing that, yeah, if you guys want to send, what is that, 3-4 heroes top to get that kill, we might as well send a few mid and see if we can't trade towers. Looking like they can't actually do it too much, though. ET doesn't seem to really have the amount of mana to sustain fighting. He's got... Does he even have enough for one combo? I'm not sure. 240. Doesn't even have enough for one combo. Needs 10-ish more, 12 more mana to do a full combo. I suppose he might regen it by the time the sleep is over, but overall, that's not what you want. You want to be using it all at the same time. Everybody porting bot now. I think everybody knowing that there is going to be a big engagement right here. You got Invisibility Cake with those track kills. If they really work, then this could be all this could just be so bad for Shadowfiend Eats Cake if he gets any amount of track golds. It looks like everybody's still trying to hide in waiting, and without the amount with no Radiant wards, with no wards for Pretty Boy Swag, this could be very scary. Do they have a center here? They do indeed. They will see this bounty as he goes down here. They do indeed see him now. He's popped into the vision, and they must know that everybody's around there looking for him. And with that, Bricks teleports top, trying to get as much farm as possible. He does have his Shadow Blade up, Hand of Midas as well. Should be farming incredibly quickly now. Make sure you get those last hits. It's really important. But now does have Shadow Blade, can be pretty scary. Only has stun level 3? 4-second stun on a full level. 3.25, still very strong, of course. Has opted to get Acid Spray level 2, probably for farming, and just the amount of team fights that have been going on. That minus armor, minus, what is that, 4 armor at the moment? The minus armor combined with Shadowfiend's minus armor is just massive. That's -10 for simply basically being in a team fight, and for everybody but Razor and possibly Bounty Hunter because he's another Agi hero. Oh, as well as Negasine with the hugest base armor in the world. Beyond that, I mean... It's pretty easy to kill everybody else with that minus armor. Rubik, of course, go down to -8. Gyrocopter. Oh yeah, he'd be a little bit fine. But overall, Visage now using his familiars just to scout around a bit, make sure that no funny business is going on. I don't know if they actually see Cakes. It's not the end of the world. Knave might be looking for a hook. See if they can't find it. But Cakes is now, looks like they're going to run on him. Does do the call down. He is going to get hit by it. Is he out of range of the second hit? He is, just barely. Did you see how close that was? He still has a hook available if he needs to. And now, like, Rubik has stolen Power Cogs, which is a very annoying steal. Now he can actually telekinesis people into his own Power Cogs. Very scary. And with that, it looks like Pretty Boy Swag is going to pick up a mid tower. If we look at the net worth, now you have Elk and Relic leading the pack the entire time, but then beyond that, there is just a freakishly massive gap between them and everybody else in the entire game. Even the Rubik is doing better than the offlane Clockwork, and that is absolutely not where you want to be, honestly. And now, they're feeling confident enough to go for this Roshan. Not sure how I feel about it. They might get caught out, especially with this Relic who's here. And now, one moment, everybody. My girlfriend has shown up, and I need to let her in. So just give me 1 second. Alright, good. I got it right and just in time. How's it going, everybody? And now Mushi following everybody's big call down, hitting everybody. Countdown to Jocktober, realizing he doesn't like what's happening. Relic is here, can just man mode it, though, with BKB going on. opting just to kill everybody he possibly can with it. I think an ult did pop out there. Indeed he did. Requiem of the Souls was very, very well used at the moment. Cakes did just flee for his life, and with that you get a 2-for-1, and it looks like a possible Roshan steal. Hard to say. Countdown to October does not have ult anymore to maybe go in and get that, which of course would have made it very easy. Bounty Hunter though, picking off Visage. Visage does not really have the health to sustain fighting much more. Trying to get this little bit of a stun to Countdown to October on him, does indeed, but I doubt they'll be able to get away, especially with this ensnare available. Although those 2 familiar stuns were pretty big, and now he's gonna chase him. He can't quite get there in time though. I'm a Sheep though has gotten Battery Assault, and now these familiars are back, trying to do a little bit of damage to Countdown to October, keep him out of the fight. Nobody wants to be there. Knave though, looks like he's gonna get picked off by Cake, does indeed. Cake running away, does get Cog, and he just can't make it in time. Relic though did pick up a couple kills there, and with that he should be having a little bit better of a time. Alright, now there should be a small lull. There's going to be a little bit of a lull. Cake's just farming, checking to see if he can't scout out the jungle a little bit. Looks like a pause being brought down by Clockwork. Something seems to be the matter for Pretty Boy Swag. Oh no, seems to be the matter for, I should say, Shadowfiend eats Cake. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And you know, it's a little bit of downtime. Let's go over some items. Of course, Elder Titan has been supporting his little heart out. Only has a bracer, brown boots, and then support items. Really, when it comes right down to it, you might not even count Scroll of Town Portal as anything, because everybody should have them at all times. Bricks is doing fine. Has 3,400 gold essentially. A Shadow Blade, Hand of Midas, and Phase Boots. He's doing very, very well. If you look at the net worth, he's also up there. Relic, of course, is leading the pack, as always, has been all game. Has his Yasha, has his BKB, and he's going to be working on that Manta very soon. He's going to be getting it very, very soon. Does have it. There's his Manta coming to him right now. Cakes is right here. He's got his Phase Boots. Opted to go Ogre Club, which obviously you usually get into BKB. I can understand that. There's actually quite a bit of magic damage on the opposing team, and for Bounty Hunter to really stay relevant and not just get picked off really, really easily, especially in these high-level games, it can be pretty much essential to get a BKB early. I'm a Sheep does have his Arcane Boots up and Magic Wand, and that's about all you ever really need on Rubik, honestly. He's got, you know, you can, if you have some nice luxury items, you get Ags and everybody's ult becomes amazing, but overall, he's doing fine, just fine. Gyrocopter has picked up Helm of the Dominator as well as Black King Bar. They are stacking these Ancients for him, though, as well. That's going to help just a little bit. Would like to see a little bit of Ancient stack going on for Shadowfiend Eats Cake, considering that they could probably burst him down pretty well with the help of Bricks. Has opted not to get a Battle Fury, though, so stacking those Ancients will not be as efficient, especially for this Gyrocopter, who will just flat cannon everything to high hell. And could not kill all the little dragons, though, in one flat cannon, and that's not where you want to be. Rocket Barrage, though, will kill them, finish them off. Cakes is around, just making sure that everything is A-OK. Slizlon not going to get picked off by any means. And now it looks like Dark Falco has gone for a mid-razor with a mechanism, no less. Mechanism. I'm going to call it mechanism. With a mechanism, no less. And is also opting to get the Ogre Club. Usually, you pretty much never see a Sange on Razor, just because Sange, for pretty much any range character, is pretty inefficient, you see a lot of the times, especially for like someone with agility. But might just be getting a BKB. BKB with Static Link, of course, can be very scary. Looks like Cake's running around just trying to make sure everything's in the know. Has opted to cast Track on Knave, just making sure everything is known. And now Brick's trying to not show off his Shadow Blade and run in and that sort of thing. And now tracking everybody. Just want to know where everybody is. Of course, Relic can pop this Manta, and I think that gets rid of Track. Gets rid of most things very similarly to Track. So I haven't played Bounty in a little while. It used to be one of my favorite heroes. Does indeed get rid of Track. Thank you, Relic, for showing that to me. And now everybody knows it as well. That's something that Manta is very good at, is actually removing Track or similar debuffs on you for, you know, a petty. Oh, actually 165 mana. I do not remember it being that expensive. Just as well. It's fine, just fine. You have Bricks now farming as much as he can, getting these kind of 2 stacks-ish of big creeps, using that acid spray to great effect. And now he's pretty much maxed out. Just wants to get Chemical Rage in one more level so he can attack as insanely fast as he possibly can. Moshi now only has a Medallion of Courage, and beyond that, some simple brown boots. Lots and lots of support, kind of 3 protect 2 on this side, especially with this Clockwork as well. Has not had as much game impact as you usually see from Clockworks. You usually see them hooking in, starting fights, getting those cogs out, battery and assault, everybody up. But you have not seen too much from this Knave, I must say. Cakes is now here as well, just scouting around the jungle a little bit. Should be wary of sentry wards now, of course, because actually there's not too many sentry wards around. That's something I still have not seen too much in these 2 games. And out of all these people, I mean, they do have Dust, which works very well on a bounty. But overall, now missing the hook as well. They couldn't quite get it off in time. A little bit of indecision there from Knave. That pretty much would have been a guaranteed kill, I'm certain. But that is A-okay. And now it sounded like Relic was faking out the Requiem Souls just for a little bit of fun. Slizel is here. Does got the Eagle Horn now. Quite a bit of damage. Is going to be looking for that Butterfly. But with the amount of farm going on for Bricks as well as Relic, it shouldn't be too hard for them to get an MKB if they ever need to counter that Butterfly. And now it looks like they might want to go on Bricks right now. Cakes is probably going to track him and just run away. Does indeed. Just wants to know exactly where he's going. This will actually stop him from farming the Ancients as well, because you definitely do not want to be there when you have these 2 heroes looking for you. If we look at the gold graph, it's very close actually. Gold very close, experience not so much. Still in favor of Shadowfiend Eats Cake, however. But overall, pbSWAG holding their own quite effectively. Now Gyrocopter has opted to make his support stack the Ancient for him. That is usually one of the reasons that you get this Helm of the Dominator, but I suppose using it right here, this giant wolf with critical strike, to just scout out Roshan all the time is a valid use of it as well. Don't usually see that too often, but I mean, that is a tiny little guy. I guess you might not notice him if you walked in even. Probably notice the health bar though. But that's fine, that's fine. Bricks now has gotten a Hyperstone. He's going to be attacking like a madman, is only about 400 experience away, and if they get a few kills, that is an instant Chemical Rage upgrade right there, and now has opted to pop this. There's nobody around. Very odd that he's opted to do this. Maybe a misclick, because it seemed maybe they thought more people were around here than they even knew. They do have a sentry here. pbSWAG does indeed have a sentry here. Probably did see him running around and that smoke, and everybody now just retreating as well. Of course, Countdown to Jocktober does not have to be as scared of this as everybody else. She has the Song of the Siren and TP Scrolls. The only thing that would stop that, of course, is Relic popping the BKB, or Alchemist popping the BKB. There's just so many BKBs on the field at the moment. And now with that, it looks like Shadowfiend, looks like NOM, knowing that smoke was either caught out or just thought about, and realizing that was kind of a wasted smoke at the moment. But Slizel now, he does have quite a bit of mana, or not mana, he does have quite a bit of gold, or he did, and with that, that's probably a full Butterfly. It is indeed, and without an MKB on the field, this is going to start, this is when Gyrocopter starts to get kind of scary. Being able to flat cannon everybody on the entire team for about 1,000 damage, and being, not only that, but being able to flak them for over 1,000 damage very quickly, because with this Butterfly, the agility and the attack speed makes his attack speed just kind of go through the roof, and because of that, he can kind of shell out that huge amount of damage, 1,200 to a whole team within 1,000 range of them. You can shell that out, ooh, I don't know, about 3 seconds? That's pretty big, especially in any kind of sustained team fight. Not to mention, they have a perfect setup with this Naga Siren and the sleep that he has. So, can be very scary. Now, they might want to force a team fight at the moment with that pickup of Butterfly by Slizel. Cakes is bought now, though. It looks like they might want to let him get his BKB first. He's very close, of course. That is a terrific team fight item. It makes it much easier on himself. Alchemist getting that last hit as well. BKB up now on the Razor. Probably just want to make sure that everybody on their team has a BKB if possible. How many is that on the field now? I think we have one for Relic. Definitely one for Bricks. We will have another one for Cakes. So we're sitting at 3, 4, 5 BKBs out on the map at the moment. That is a huge amount. Nobody wanted to take any magic damage this time around. Countdown to Jocktober is here. wonder if Shadowfiend might have wanted to go Shadowblade at one point. That might have been very, very good for getting the drop on people, especially someone like Countdown to October, where if you can burst them down, especially with a massive Shadowfiend ult, you can have a much easier, nicer team fight. Things like this, you might be able to run up to them right now and force it. Alchemist, though, picking off Bounty Hunter. Don't know if Bounty Hunter was out of position or was just revealed. But, of course, there is no detection down here, so it was more likely than not just trying to farm. And looks like Bricks probably popped his Chemical Rage, got a 4-second stun on him, and has just did a huge amount of damage. Razor now, Dark Falco. Looks like he's having some connectivity problems during this time. Let's take a second look at all the items. Now, since then, Alchemist has picked up his Hyperstone, but he's back, and that was really, really short-lived. Moshi is here. Has gotten his headdress. Still nowhere near Mechanism, though. Elder Titan is just supporting. Might want to go Drums. I think that's kind of where he's leaning towards. Of course, a very good item on any hero. It's like almost like a weaker Scatty, but it's very, very efficient. Or at least it was. It's gotten a little bit worse now with the costs incurred. Clockwork, though, not doing too well. If we're looking at the net worth, we still have the 2 leaders of the pack who are actually right on par. This Gyro is still farming very, very well. He does not have Greevil's Greed, of course. He doesn't have Shadow Razes available to him, but he does have Flat Cannon, and has opted not to get a single skill into Homing Missile. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. Even getting a possible 2.2 second stun can be massive. And with that, that's probably going to be a go. Countdown to October has opted to just get level 1 in Mirror Image. That's pretty much what you usually see. You usually don't see too many because the cooldown is the exact same. All it does is increase more damage. And really, you just use these to scout and to Riptide for you. So usually not that big a deal. Of course, if it goes later, you can play this support Naga into sort of a semi-carry, but now Alchemist does indeed have his Assault Cuirass, and that is very, very scary and very, very good news. It's almost like they're playing a negative armor kind of role. If they ever did want to go for this Roshan, which should be up very, very soon in about 20 seconds, he will just drop so quickly. With this Acid Spray, you're sitting at -6 plus -6, -12, not to mention Medallion, which is another -6. So you're looking at -18, and you couple all that with the Assault Cuirass, which is -5, I believe. It is indeed. Sitting at, what is that, -23 armor just for existing, pretty much? That's just terrifying. Or, I mean, I suppose if the Medallion is used as well. But that will make this Roshan drop super duper so fast. Of course, they must be really, really scared of going in there. It's not always the best option, especially with this Gyrocopter who has a just flat cannon, quite a bit of damage, not to mention a call down, and I think people underestimate just how much damage call down really does. It's 550 magical, and it's got such a huge radius that it's pretty easy to hit at least 2 or 3 heroes all the time. And now you have Pretty Boy Swag. They are indeed smoking up. Probably going to be going for this Roshan. They know the opposing team is not going for it, and they are. They really want to get this on to Slizel, on a Gyrocopter right now, and with that they'll probably want to go for the push and see if it's not, and see if they can do it. Relic has picked up an MKB, will be able to just chew through Slizel as well, and now I think that they know that that Shadowfiend Eats Cake is around here, just waiting. Alchemist is of course farming up as best he can, just making as best use of his time as he ever can. He actually doesn't have too much damage, honestly. He's kind of like a semi-support Elk, because all he really has is Assault, and as well as Shadowfiend. Usually because of Alchemist's huge attack speed, you want to get some pretty strong damage items on him as well, and that can be really, really helpful. But now it looks like both teams really, really want this Roshan. Of course, scouting out with these Visage Familiars, they know what's happening. They absolutely know what's happening. A Clockwork Hook in could be all they need to really get these. Of course, killing these Familiars, very high bounty on those, but that's A-okay. They do, of course, have Elder Titan, can pop his Spirit in, and trying to force out maybe some BKBs. There's the hook, does get them, pops his BKB. It's not going to matter, though, but Relic is nowhere near to be found. He hasn't done anything. Pops his ult, just trying to do as much damage as possible. Dark Falco, but of course, most people having BKB, pretty much everybody have a BKB available. Dark Falco taking a huge amount of damage, but he is running away in time. Cakes is here now. Cakes will fall. Definitely fall. Dark Falco, though, getting hurt so much, and he will fall as well. Relic just cleaning up, getting 3 kills for sure, and it looks like a probable Roshan steal. And with that, more likely than not, going to go to Relic. I don't see why not. He is doing a huge amount of damage, and there it is, -19 armor. just an obscene amount, and it is on Relic now. He is dictating the pace of this game, and as you can see, he is right beside his Greevil's Greed Alchemist, who is farming very, very well, but he is just carrying this game for his team at the moment. And with that team fight, I'm sure a giant upswing in the gold. Well, I wouldn't say giant. They've been very close, very, very close all game. But as far as experience is concerned, an even bigger upswing now. It's always been in favor of Shadowfiend Eats Cake, and now it's only getting more and more in favor for them. Looks like NA finally has some arcane boots. That'll give him a little bit more ability to sustain in team fights. At the very least, he will be able to cast his spells a little bit more without having to go back to town, and that's fine, just fine. Cakes, of course, is doing fine. Did have to use his BKB that one time as well, but for everybody that didn't have a BKB, that was a very rough fight for them. And now Naga Siren looks like she's going around trying to deward. Does have a gem of True Sight. I guess only really getting it for this Alec. I'm pretty sure he's the only one who has any form of invisibility. Does indeed. Shadowfiend has opted not to get it. Instead, has just chosen to go man mode. Monkey King Bar, of course. There it is. There's that huge amount of farm I mentioned earlier, just coming, just full swing and making it much, much easier for them to deal with Gyrocopter. And when it comes right down to it, I mean, Gyro still only has 1700 HP. He does have quite a bit of armor, but the amount of negative armor going on, it doesn't mean too much, honestly. And, I mean, Shadowfiend regularly is hitting for 300. That's only, what, 6 hits or so? That's not too many for Gyrocopter to live through. And he doesn't have really the movement speed or the positioning available without a Shadow Blade to get away and really make sure that he's not the target. Of course, Notamon Spirit, very, very good at scouting and running around all crazy, like opting not to use Echo Slomp at the moment there. Not sure why. Relic is here, though, just trying to clean up, and Slizel almost being caught out. That wasn't too much damage done to him. It did about 200, so that's good to know, just to know how much damage Slizel does per hit. So he's looking at more like 9 hits to get Slizel down. And now it looks like an engagement possibly going on. Of course, Scouting with Familiars making it very easy. Scouting with Familiars and the Rocket Flare, they kind of know where everybody is all the time. Relic, of course, does have BKB and Manta available to him if he ever needs to, doing 250 damage to Razor each hit. And now Cake's getting stunned just a little bit, not by a very large one. I wanted to make sure that it connects without stunning yourself. That can be so detrimental. But now he has popped his Chemical Rage. You want to definitely be in a fight while that's on. You do not want to be in a fight when that is off, obviously. It can be very, very scary. But just the amount of kind of secondary units now that this team has is just so good for scouting. You have the Manta Illusions, you have the Astral Spirit, you have the Familiars, you have the Rocket Flare. Even without wards, you mostly know where the opposing team is, and that's something I must admit I really like on Shadowfiend Eats Cake's lineup. They just constantly know where everybody is. And now with this, Pretty Boy Swag is in a little bit of a tough position. Gyrocopter does have his Satanic up, which is just terrifying, of course, but until Gyrocopter came here, mid was getting pushed in just a little bit, top is getting pushed in quite fiercely, and now if they split push, there it is, Knave hooks in, does get the Dark Falco, that's a-okay though, he will fall very quickly, has stolen only a little bit of his damage in the grand scheme of things. It looks like Cake's trying to get away, does have BKB up, doesn't really matter though, and with that, this tower is definitely going to fall. Cake's just barely getting away, did see him though, with this Sentry Ward, and Gyrocopter just trying to push into mid, trying to force them back maybe, but now this top, Gyrocopter needs to be there. He needs to get that big, nice amount of juicy farm for himself, because with this Satanic and this Butterfly, he is doing quite a bit of damage, but he's not doing enough. He needs a huge amount. He needs maybe a Daedalus, he needs an MKB maybe as well, and now Relic picking up an invisibility. And that can be, if he uses this really well, it's kind of doubtful that he will. He might get to pick up an easy kill on someone like Countdown to Jocktober for it, but Countdown to Jocktober, of course, does have a gem. Gem was also picked up by Elder Titan there, just trying to make sure that they can kill Cakes if they ever see him. Not to mention, the ability to deward is just super essential this late in the game. If you can keep the opposing team in the dark, which it looks like they're doing, I mean, if you look at the map down here, what is that? You have Pretty Boy Swag with 2 wards. You can really only see this small area of the map, and that's pretty good. You can kind of see where everybody goes. at least in the bottom here. But now with that tower gone, they're going to be wanting to push in these mid and top towers as well and really get the pressure onto Pretty Boy Swag. And you don't have any wards anywhere around here or here. You can't see what's going on. They might even be here for all you know, which can be pretty scary if you were in that sort of position. Slizel, though, is farming up bot, seeing what he can't pick off and get. Countdown to Jocktober now is just seeming... might want to start, has a blink dagger no less, really want to get those ensnares on people whenever he possibly can. Cake's running around, has opted to get an ultimate orb. Usually you see this turn into a Lincoln's, and I can see why. You have something, what do you have? I suppose Soul Assumption can really wreck face, not to mention a huge stun by Alchemist is just very scary for anybody. But now they've 5-manned up. They're going mid. They have all the things off cooldown. Requiem is there as well. Everybody is there. They still have Earth Splitter. Nodamon, I haven't seen it used yet. I really want to. Trying to get sleeping people. And Cakes just barely gets out of the way. Of course, he does have the gem. They know where he is all day long. Trying to do a little bit of damage with that. They're not going to be able to get the deny off by any means. There's just too much. And with that, Gyrocopter was split pushing top. Or split pushing bot. Brix is now chasing after him. He might be able to get him with... He's definitely going to get him with the Abyssal Blade. And this is just going to be so scary. Oh, gets a lucky bash on. Didn't even have to use the Abyssal Blades. But he is going to stun himself. And that is not a good place to be. Slizel might have been able to get away if he had popped it. But of course... Oh, does not stun himself because he BKBs. Some nice play there by Brix. Realizing that if he had, this might have gone a completely different way. Of course, Knave would be able to Ghost Scepter and Battery Assault. I'm not sure if Battery Assault still continues through BKB, but still a very nice pickoff for them. Gyrocopter is down. His buyback status, he does not actually have enough. It's so close. Oh, he does indeed. Oh, he does indeed have buyback status back. So if they opted to push this in, he would be back. And actually might have not been a bad choice, honestly. They could have forced that buyback. Really made him a little bit poor, made him spend that money. But now you have a drums picked up by Clockwork on Knave, as well as a Butterfly on Shadowfiend. And he is almost 6-slotted at the moment, doing a huge amount of damage, almost 400 damage per hit. And with this Butterfly and that evasion, and no MKB in sight for the other team, this could start to get very scary and very overwhelming for Pretty Boy Swag, just from this one hero, just Relic. And that alone is terrifying in and of itself. Knave, though, does have a Ghost Scepter, making it quite a lot easier to live now. That is the one thing that you want on pretty much anybody who isn't a carry near this far into the game, because all the opposing carries, namely Gyrocopter's Flat Cannon, I mean, they're not going to hit you. They're not going to hit you even if he's casting them on... Oh, God. Not going to hit you because you have Ethereal on. And that's a pretty big deal this late in the game. Stumbling over my words there. Not the end of the world, though. But really, yeah, you want to see Ghost Scepter on pretty much anybody who isn't a carry this late in the game. And Nodamon now just scouting around. They're trying to Ghost up. I suspect Pretty Boy Swag knows this Relic's going in solo, but this is way too deep to actually be alone. And Gyrocopter is here as well. The entire team of Pretty Boy Swag as well. Relic, though, just running in, trying to bait something out. And they know Cakes is here. They know Cakes is around. They must know. Of course, they don't have the gem anymore. What happened to it? Who has this gem now? There it is, Elder Titan. Of course, he did have the gem originally, and now Cakes looks like he's going to get caught out. He does indeed get caught, does get stunned as well, and now he will fall 400 damage per hit by Relic there. With all that negative armor, that was just too much for him. And with that pickoff, they might opt to run around and actually get a few more towers down. It doesn't look like it, though. Instead, opting to send Brix top, let him get as much farm as he could ever want. Does have an Abyssal, though. He is quite scary in and of himself now. But maybe he wants a heart before anything's said and done. Of course, Relic is here as well. Does have 3,500. Not sure what he's going to go next. Hard to say, really. He is farming, just flash farming his little heart out. And with an MKB and a Butterfly and a Manta and a BKB, he might want to buy another BKB and recharge it. Hard to say. He has the gold for it. But is there anything else? I suppose a Daedalus is always good in these sorts of situations. Might want to go for... No, I just don't see what else it could be other than a Daedalus when it comes right down to it. If we look at the shop and we look at the upgrades and we look in the the damagey type tab. I mean, he's got all the highest ones he could ever want. He might want an Ethereal Blade, more likely than not. He probably won't, though. He does way more right-click, and now they're just going to go for this Roshan, and there's absolutely no way that Pretty Boy Swag can contest this. And, oh, just dropping so much. Minus 18 armor, so scary. There is a cheese available. Bricks might want that. He does sell his phase boot, picks up the cheese, now has Boots of Travel as well. Boots of Travel would not be a bad pickup for Relic as well. Even if he did die, he has the buyback gold, and with that, he should be able to just buy back Boots of Travel back in and just really decimate the rest of the fight. Cake's trying to farm up, probably trying to get this Lincoln's sooner than later, and Notamon, of course, does have his smoke, does have a Dust of Appearance if they ever need to, but with this Aegis, they're going to be pushing mid, and Slizel is here as well, doing a huge amount of damage to these creeps, making it just pushing very deep in. It looks like Dark Falco is coming home, trying to make sure that this tower does not fall, and he pops. Doesn't even matter, BKB doesn't even matter. It's just too much damage. Cake's just too much damage. Slizel realizing he needs to come home. He needs to do the damage to the entire team. It's 3 for nothing at the moment. Relic just does such an obscene amount. Slizel is missing Relic all day long. Knave is here as well. Doesn't matter though. And now, with that, Countdown to Jocktober does pop his song. Just trying to delay things just a little bit. Relic though just does so much damage per hit, guaranteeing these racks will fall, and with that, I wonder if they're going to continue. They still do have the upper hand. Only Elder Titan has fallen, and that is not a hero you really need in team fights. It's a little bit scary, but now Relic with 6,000 gold, 6,000 gold a piece on the 2 carries for Shadowfiend Eats Cake. God, I always forget the name of this team. It's just NOM is totally throwing me off. Perhaps I'll just call it NOM from now on. But overall, Visage now does have enough gold to maybe get a nice little luxury item. Has a point booster. Might want to go Ags if that's the route he's going for. Usually doesn't need too much as far as mana boots is concerned. Might want them now, but overall is none too bad. Notamon has returned, has Observer Wards now. It's probably going to be start warding up the map pretty effectively. Bricks is here, and I'm not sure what else he wants to buy. You might want to get rid of the Shadow Blade. Of course, you do want that cheese, but you might also just want to keep that and hold on to it for a little while. More likely than not, Shadowfiend Eats Cake is gonna want to push in pretty deep with this Aegis and this cheese, and then once that is done, both of these heroes have enough for a buyback that they should just buyback port in as well. And now Shadowfiend did exactly what I said, has bought a Black King bar again just to recharge that duration, and I don't think he's gonna have to hide it by any means. Razor now, that BKB not being used too well, it just doesn't even matter with Shadowfiend here and Relic. He just does way too much damage to him. That BKB isn't even gonna stop him. Usually you want a BKB as Razor, run in, static link BKB, nobody can actually stun you, nobody can stop you from attacking, but it doesn't matter when you get friggin' 4-shot by Shadowfiend. And now Shadowfiend is up top, trying to see if he can't get a few kills now. Countdown to Jocktober is going to be able to port away, and that's fine, just fine. Slizel does it as well, has picked up a Sacred Relic, more likely than not. I mean, Radiance, there's pretty much no point this late in the game. It's more likely than not trying to pick up a Divine. Usually you want to have an Aegis on him before you do such things, but a Divine might be the only way for Pretty Boy Swag to turn the tide of this fight, or of this battle. Could be hard to say, we'll see how it goes, but I mean, that extra 250 damage can pretty much wipe the entire team, of course, except Knave because of this Ghost Scepter, which I stuttered and took so long on. Except for Elder Titan as well, because of that Ghost Scepter. And Visage, wouldn't mind Visage having a Ghost Scepter as well. Relic just doing an obscene amount of damage, of course, has Aegis available. And I just don't know if Pretty Boy Swag can hold on here. Relic, of course, running around, doing an obscene amount of damage. They do have a reinforcement available, a Glyph of Fortification available, if they ever need to, but all it is delaying. It's not letting them even push back. It's not letting them come back by any means. Notamon, just use your ultimate. That's all I want to see, is a giant Earth Splitter. Relic now killing Dark Falco, just a huge amount. Oh, it's trying to steal as much damage as possible. Now, Dark Falco is a little bit scary, but will he actually survive? Pops the ult, doing a huge amount of damage to I'm a Sheep. Doesn't matter though, Relic might fall. He will indeed fall. Doesn't matter though, Slizel does not have his Divine yet. Bricks is here though. It Did Bricks use it? He did indeed use the cheese, and with that, that's probably going to be the GG. I don't see how they could come back from that. Gyrocopter has bought back. Indeed, there is the GG. Maybe a bit early for them. No, they are 2 racks down. It is pretty scary, and with that, Pretty Boy Swag is defeated in this best of 3, 2-0. Ouch. So there you have it. That's a GG by Pretty Boy Swag. Shadowfiend Eats Cake takes it to Zip in MLG North American League. Those are the first 2 games. I'm hoping to cast a few more today, but we'll see how it goes. Thanks everybody for watching. This has been Briefcase again, and I'm slowly getting better.